lowered my phone profile just a pinch, so I think it'll be way less shaky. What's good? I'm gonna go and take a run up to. No, I just said I was gonna take a run. One thing I didn't think about is I could have sworn I left them. Hold on a minute. I may have screwed up. Oh, where is it? It's probably back here. There it is. Okay. So I got my waist belt that I use to carry my phone when I am doing certain things, which is supposed to kind of keep the phone secure. Although I've still gotten it beat up a little bit because I kind of need a padding to put across the screen to both keep it from abrasion, because I've got cracks on the protector. Not on the screen. Screen itself is fine. The protector is a bit cracked. No damage with the actual phone, but at any rate, you know, it's funny enough that I titled it this way because my mind is kind of at that place. Right? Because we're in Libra season right now, and one of the things that's neat about Libra season is how the days do kind of reflect the meaning of the season, right? The days are still like summer. It's very warm out, but now the nights can't hold the heat. All the heat is dependent on the sun. No longer is heat being retained at night, right? So like last night was like 55 degrees or something like that, right? And so I've also just been reflecting on my state of mind being involved in the scene for as long as I was, and seeing, you know, that the scene is didn't have a codify, you know, it couldn't. It's seeing that you had the kind of the delusion that there were certain things that would have been enough of a universal truth in its particulars to get everybody, you know, behind the looking at it seriously part, right? And so looking at something seriously, unfortunately, is a waste of time, because if you're not the person that has the background, and I'm not talking about the fake credentials of look at me, I'm a scientist with a degree and an approval by my peers, etc. I'm talking about, oh, my shirt. Oh, like you don't listen very well. Like last time, you see, like I'm notorious for sleeping with everybody's mothers, and it's at your mother's house. Fuck you. Anyway, so anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this this world that I watched unfold and go mad in front of me. And it felt like everything was going to be proven true. And then a whole bunch of things, way more things than anybody wants to be comfortable with, were actually demonstrated to be true as we went through it. But also a lot of things. You see, we're living at a point now where certain things that haven't necessarily been, quote, debunked, are still left hanging, and it's the question of, when do you think enough time has passed for you to give up on the existence of something in theory, right? Like, everybody is criticizing the existence of weather warfare, and this is because everybody is caught up in what everybody's talking about, right? I don't see people debunking weather warfare. I see people debunking the arguments that people make for weather warfare. And the arguments people make for weather warfare are piss poor. Just like the people that make the arguments that that NASA's documentation of what we're looking for is absolute fucking trash, amongst other things that are absolute fucking trash. And so, you know that when you've got more of the what isn't and not as much of the what is, like, if you just are working off the what isn't, and making assumptions about the what is, then you're in the wrong business, right? You know, your grift entirely depends on it not fucking falling apart, right? Tartaria had to stop calling itself Tartaria. It had to, it had to start calling itself Antiquity, Old World, or Prior Age, or whatever, right? It was an insufficient title for the thing being conveyed. Yeah, you would know what the fuck I was talking about, if you paid attention. If you paid attention. But you can't pay attention. You're just expecting me to start from square one, which is a waste of everybody's time. The best thing to do is to go back in time on the record and see where I come from and what I'm about, because I'm having a conversation that's built on a prior conversation, which is built on my life experience, instead of living in a loop like I think it's 2002. Because there's too many people that just keep talking about the same shit. They don't realize that people have changed in 20 fucking years, right? This is why I don't like people that stick with their fucking program for fucking ever, right? You can do that, like, if you're a musician and you're fucking original while being the same every single time, right? But anyway, so this channel is about my life experience, how I've grown and how I've changed. I came out of this interesting place of being more of an activist. Who believed that everybody was looking for a certain kind of quality of life and a certain kind of freedom, a certain kind of all sorts of things. And that we could find enough people that realize they can take care of themselves and realize that they're really being robbed more than they're being rewarded when they fucking pay their taxes and yada yada yada. And then I find out that no, people really care about being that dependent. People think that they're part of a solution, even though they're not working on their fucking problems. But it's a solution as long as they're within societal standards, and then they will protest societal standards if those societal standards are not to their liking, but they're still the fucking good guy. They're just a victim who would be more of a good guy if they weren't in such a state of victim. because my knees are broken or something. I don't know. Right? And so when you're the kind of person who's in a state of not very capable in themselves, your life will entertain big bad monsters that are victimizing you to rob you of your agency, and you let them do it and act like they just have this power to overtake you, when really you're just surrendering to a world of implied threats that have less teeth than you think. And if anybody had stood up for themselves in 2020 and 2021, they would have gone through a decent amount of pain that they realized was nothing really, and that the whole world was doing you a favor by isolating it from you. From a mental health standpoint, it's just like, leave me alone. I'm crazy. You were wrong about me. Right? And that's what the world was saying in 2020. It's like, stop. Listen, I can't pretend that I care this much. I don't. I just want to fucking surrender my mind to all this shit. I'm going to demonstrate it fully and let you know that you're the exact opposite of me, because you think people have agency and self-actuation and are trustworthy. And I'm going to prove to you that I am none of those things, and that I want the system that you keep fighting against. Stop calling it slavery. I need my life to be controlled. Look at me. I'm a mess. I'm part of the fucking problem, but I'm doing what they say is the solution. And that's what humanity made a decision to do with their compliance. And they have been reaping the karma of that state of mind their entire fucking lives at this point. Their entire lives. Hey, what's up, Talon Stewart? She didn't even have to say nothing. I'm just looking, and I'm just like, oh, look at that. Oh, who's looking out for me over there? This is like one of my mods, right? So, So I've got all of this knowledge under my belt, but then I also have a lot of things that were incredibly interesting to look into for a time that I thought was going to produce something as well, right? That there was something slightly more archaeological that makes sense. That there would have been some other kind of disclosed emanation that are a smidge shaky. Anyway, yeah, but I just can't tell you how much it sucks, because it's just like I'm not really inspired to like run the gambit and talk about all of these different kinds of things that people have picked up on, right? None of that inspires me anymore, because like none of it is serving a noble purpose, right? It's largely just navel gazing. It's largely just navel gazing. We think it's giving us a deeper insight into like something like, the Robert era that is like our great-grandfathers fucking generation of the elites that they had to fucking quote deal with. And I don't outright dismiss the manner in which there's almost a too national ideas from my buddy and colleague James True, because of like, oh, this is the way the system works, yada yada yada. I'm still kind of against it, because I just don't feel like I'd be a right person if I wasn't striving more and more to eliminate what is wrong and replace it with what is right. That's the thing, right? It's just like I don't harp. No joke there, really. I don't harp on about subjects. You see that with me, right? Which is why that guy's like, "What are you talking about?" Well, you have to pay attention because I talk about things within my current paradigm. That's what I'm fucking talking about. I'm talking about my goddamn fucking paradigm. Let's see here. I gotta go this way and then turn around. I missed my entrance. Oh my god. Let me see here. Turn around like this. Oops. Bear with me. Maneuvers. Alright, there we go. Anywho. Plus, it's been so long since I had my shirt off. I had to do fucking straight with my shirt off at some points. Like, people start thinking that maybe I've discovered modesty. But anyway, this is where I want to be. There we go. Excellent. Whoops. Alright. Okay, so as I enter the cemetery, I'm gonna go for a jog at the cemetery today. Do I do it here? Yeah, I could do it here. There's shade over here. I can start right over here. So I'm gonna park it here. But I'm gonna chit chat for a minute before I do. This is my lazy ass day here. This is a lazy ass Saturday. Alright. Both is the root of bothered. You're right, it is. That's good. That's very good. Both. Bothered. Right. And I am often the kind that is bothered because I struggle between two ideas, two hearts, to this, to that all the time, right? It's part of my Libra qualities that put me in this particular position and disposition and has me looking through all of these things, right? It's as well as not necessarily that I know that there's merit there, but also I'm listening to people that I seem to like as people. I'm listening to where they're at with their ideas, that they're coming from. I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt to how intelligent they may be, how wise they may be. I probably shouldn't be doing that. And when I say people, I don't just mean any people. I mean people where I know I can have a conversation with them. But the nature of these things is consistently changing. So I don't know if I'm really having a conversation with them. Athie. Hey, remember me? No, we've never met before. Why would I? Athie? I don't remember your name or the little picture next to your name. I have no idea who you are. I wouldn't remember a goddamn thing. You would have to fucking reintroduce yourself. Tell me who you used to be known by as. I would have to know those things. It's like a guy coming up to me in a mask and say, "Hey, remember me? I was on a live stream of yours." Oh, okay. Sure. I've been doing live streams since 2012. I don't remember you. You're gonna have to give me your real name. You have to tell me how I remember you. You have to tell me where I know you from. Or whatever. Okay? You told me that you were half Native American. I like talking to a lot of people of mixed races that may be half Native American. Stop being vague with me. It's really rude. No, I don't fucking remember you. You can't fucking change your name and picture and then give me no fucking references and then harp on me that I don't fucking know you. All right? That's rude. Don't be rude. Nah, dude. Nah. I don't care who you are. You're gone. You're gone. That's what you are. You're hidden. Bye. Sorry, there's no time for chill. Chill? What fucking chill? What fucking chill? You're the one bringing me out of chill. It's my channel. And fucking talk to me on my channel? Fucking talk to me. Don't fucking be the riddle of the fucking Sphinx. I will tell the riddles around here. I don't like being manipulated. I don't like people acting like I'm supposed to act a certain way with them. Introduce yourself. You know? People that knew me as Steve Travesty not only knew me by a different name and appearance, but a completely different person. My mind doesn't work the same way that it does. I don't behave the same way that I did. I've evolved some of my tastes and things and some of the things I believe in, etc., which is why I'm here chit-chatting with you motherfuckers today. That's why I'm talking about this kind of in-between being foolish and wise situation as I'm sitting there and, you know, sitting there and accepting the fact that even amongst what seemed like a smarter conversation of my peers at the time, and most of my peer, like between 2012 and like 2015, 2016, this was a fucking boomer's game. Conspiracy World, Truther World, that was a fucking boomer's game. You were fucking Bill Cooper's generation. You were Alex Jones, maybe, who was technically Gen X. But you were largely a boomer. You were largely just jerking off to trying to, you know, deal with your outrage because you were robbed from the JFK assassination or something like that. Like, because most of these boomers, like, there's very few boomers I know that are still in the game because they couldn't handle it because their egos were too hurt about being wrong, and they lost all their passion because they didn't have a passion. Like, there was nothing they really cared about. You know, they said, like, oh man, you know, life would have been so much better with Kennedy or something, and they were just like, but then they don't know how to fucking produce one. And then they produce a literal Kennedy, and it's obviously not even that, and it's still that, but it's people are hallucinating what Kennedy means to them all wrong. It's so fucking retarded and stupid and silly. Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. So, I'm definitely in a deep period of going into certain silences about things that I still want to talk about, but now I can't because I acknowledge that the game has changed. A lot of people can't acknowledge it. Like I said earlier, like 20 years has passed. You act like 20 years has passed and people haven't changed. You know, I'm watching everything shift. You can, you know, like when it affects you, you notice it, right? Like if you are losing, you know, traffic or gaining traffic in the zeitgeist of a thing, right? Those have a certain effect on you. So are you reconciling the paradigm shift with the knowledge you are acquiring? I recently feel like I have the anxiety because I don't know what the point of a slick dissidence Wait, what? I feel like I have the anxiety because I don't know what the point of a slick dissidence revelation is. Oh, yeah. Don't have anxiety. Listen. Guys like me, guys like Slick, um, we're diving into super deep universal profundities that we're conveying to an audience that also has that deep personal correspondence, which is what kind of conveys our passion for what we're bringing forth, and why a guy like Slick, a guy like me, we speak in such an awkward kind of riddleistic manner, right? Because we're hoping we can put these words together ahead of a more saline point that has come from from the work that you're doing, the processing of things that have made revelation through these trialing times, right? But this is part of the reason why like I do harp on meditation sometimes, because of people that don't do ritual and they just meditate. But of course, if you've got the capacity to fucking meditate, that also puts you 20 million years ahead of the game. Because of the discipline it takes to sit in your own silence, or even just with calming music, to just sit and to not get nervous because the mind is just like, this is too idle, this is such a waste, this is such a waste, right? Like, there's the part of you that says this is unproductive and a waste, and you have no idea. Like, once you've done it enough, your mind eventually be like, oh, geez, well, this has actually been very, very good for us, right? Because the mind will appreciate what it does and doesn't have to go through because of your efforts. A revelation you see, I think that probably, like, okay, so the Book of Revelations, right? People get their etymology of revelation from their translation of apocalypse to revelation, right? Because we're all lost in biblical mindedness. It's just like one thing with, like, I'm very short on certain things. I've been growing up with many years of esoteric biblical stuff and thelemic kabbalistic magic practices, looking into all that stuff, and I'm sick and tired of all of that, right? Because I've seen plenty of other people working with it, and none of them impress me as a magus. Not a single fucking one. Because of what I'm looking for out of magic. Which I think says something about my character versus what they're looking for in magic, and what it says about their character. And I'm not sure what I want to say I do or don't believe in those respects anymore. But I, do know what is outright right and what's outright wrong. And the oversaturation of biblical esotericism is quite the thing now. And I'm not feeling like, other than say, hey, look, I've revealed how this passage is secretly an allegory for this alchemical transformation. Isn't that so amazing to know about the Bible? It's like, no, it's not. It's just like, okay, so they gave us a deeply useless allegory of alchemy in a biblical story. And the only reason why we care is how much we care about that Bible and extracting value from that fucking Bible. No, it's plagiarizing sources. You're revealing the crime of plagiarists, and it makes the Bible cheaper, in my opinion. So keep going. I'm just saying that I don't need it because I'm already convinced that the next thing you're going to tell me is see how the Bible ripped this off and see how the Bible ripped that off. It's like, okay, this is my point. You're destroying the Bible. Great. I want to destroy the Bible too. You're replacing it with nothing. You're replacing it with absolutely nothing. Right? Because there was something to the idea that was good that caught on, that people thought the Bible was. That it isn't, but that they thought that it was, which was a book that compiles certain records of history and certain wisdom of the ages and applications of mystery, tradition, and X, Y, and Z things. And the problem is that it does it terribly, and you need somebody to fucking talk for the book to let you know that the book is saying that. Because the book doesn't start off with some author taking credit for, here we put together all these old... It's like, no. The credit is just like, this is the word of God. And never mind you how it got printed. This is the nonsense. So, right. Well, it's not an unveiling. It's a reveiling. It's in the word. Reveal. To reveil. To put the veil on again. Which implies that the veil came off. So, the book of Revelation is saying, this is the book of covering shit up again. Is what they're saying, which is not the translation, as I understand, of Apocalypse, because when we called it the Book of Revelations, at the time we were lied to and told that the etymology doesn't matter, that revealing means that we are showing it to you. No, we are inventing a cover-up. That's what a revelation is. To put you back on the revolution, to get you revolving. So they put it back into the cover-up, and then the cycle repeats again. It's about overall the Holy Trinity Chronicles, too. There's too many stops in the practical... Right. And you can go ad infinitum with this, and it returns you back to being a people of the book. Right? People are overtly into the esoteric book club thing. It's very dilating. It's very satiating. But you need to start expanding that book knowledge. And also, you still don't have anything to talk about just because you've read a book. Now you have to go fucking apply life in juxtaposition to the book. I'm reading Ayn Rand's Fountainhead, and I just got my OSHA 10 license to enter construction, right? My life was going through changes. My world was changing dramatically as I was reading the aspects in Heidegger's Being and Time, chapters on what it means for the world to change. So the books have been like an augury for me. So I don't want to read the Bible. Because I don't want to be revolving around that fucking paradigm anymore. Just shut the fuck up. I don't care about Jonah, meaning fucking Cetus the whale. I mean, I do, but I don't. Right? Because Cetus the whale, there's other mythoses that do a 20 times better job than the shit that they fucking do with their biblical interpretations of things. And what it's all roped into. It's all House of the Net. It's all Loki's traps. This is all Thoth the Atlantean, the corrupted seed of Tahuti, the corruption of the word, the literalism, people of the book. And so, maybe I just got my shirt off because I didn't listen to no snakes and no gardens, because I also knew that the snake and the god were not real gods, and were neither my friend nor my enemy. Just interested in how stupid and obedient I am. Because if the snake had any goddamn sense, he would have said, you know, broski, God lied about that fucking apple or that fucking tree, but I'm going to tell you straight up, he's going to kick you out. He's going to shame you if you fucking, go after that. But just letting you know, he did lie to you. See, that would have been a different story. That would have been a snake I would have actually considered to be a good guy. But the snake didn't say that. The snake didn't fill you in on sin. The snake just said, homie's lying. And then you made your own rational decision. Right? And the reason why the guilt of that story works so well is because at face value, there's some basic wisdom. It's telling a kid, don't stick your fucking forks in the electrical outlet. You're gonna fucking short everything out and kill yourself, right? And that's dad laying down rules in the house. And that's all that fucking story is on a primordial level to a small child, and thus conveying this idea, that, dad is a projection of God, and that's an acceptable thing. God made dad, so dad can make me, and dad is infallible because dad's a good man of God, and I don't want to be treated like Adam, because then, so this all happens. It becomes the wrong way to fucking build your personal character, your sense of ideals and morals, right? It's just like you learn the lesson, you still become like a perfectly decent person, but too many people will rationalize that as a cover, and we've been too naive to say that people of these values that convey these values, that's their authentic self. Neutral, no trial. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. I like that. That makes sense. Unity greater than Trinity. I don't know. I don't know about that. I suppose one could say that a trinity is a trinity is a unified three, right? There's a flow relationship, an equality of relationship. So I don't think that unity is greater than. I think that there's an equivalency. The Trinity is a unified force. The Creator cannot create unless the Destroyer takes materials from the Preserver. Preserver's holding on to everything, but the Preserver makes nothing happen. The Destroyer breaks things down so the Creator can make things new. And that's their fucking relationship. That's the essence of Trinity. That's the dynamics. And then the unity would be the acknowledgement of the three as a whole, because all of creation is contained within those three. This is why you've got the Brahman and then Brahma. The Creator and Creator in the personified sense. And then, of course, Vishnu and then Shiva. And in one of the stories, Shiva, although was always there, he gets introduced into the story. Instead of really seeing him created, you just kind of get this glorious introduction where Brahma and Vishnu are complaining about who, they're arguing with themselves. Who's more powerful, me or you? Right? Among the creations. And then a fucking pillar of light emerges, and then Shiva manifests out of this great pillar of light, and it's an infinite pillar of light. They inspect it. Vishnu goes all the way down to the underworld, and Brahma goes all the way up to the heavens. They can't find the fucking beginning or the end of this pillar. And then Shiva comes out of it, and he comes out, he's fully formed, fully regalia, fully in mind as an adult, full avatar. And that's where Shiva comes out, and then Shiva's just like, yo, it's me, bitches. Right? And so, and thus here's these three gods that are all in eternal kind of competition with each other for their, for the greatness, and that's because they're all equally great. They're all symbiotically working together to create, preserve, and destroy on the microcosm and the macrocosm as corrective elements of the universe on behalf of the Brahman. And that's your cosmology in a nutshell. So at any rate, I'm going to get on with this run. I'll be back with content soon. I'm 3 chapters away from finishing this big ass book with Ayn Rand. And I might want to finish that tonight or tomorrow, because I'm definitely going to read at least 1 chapter, if not 2, tonight. Because the last chapter is ultra short. The last 3 chapters are all pretty short, so I might be able to nail it tonight. Then I got a shorter book. In fact, it's Arc of Baphomet, one of James's more recent books. I promised I'd read that. I have a hard copy, but I have a physical copy of it. Then after that, I will actually clear my head and properly think about YouTube content. And then you'll see me put on a something eventually. All right. I'll catch you guys later.